Welcome back to another Roblox Studio classes. In today's video, we are going to synchronize the color change of multiple parts at the same time. To do this, we will review more efficient ways of scripting, using for loops with ipairs, and a little bit about commenting out lines. So go ahead and open up a template. I'm going to keep this basic base plate here. Then add multiple parts to your game. You can pick whatever part type you want, size them how you want, but we're going to use these parts to make them all change color at the same time. I'm going to add cylinders. I'll put down this first one, and then I'll duplicate the cylinder over and over by pressing Ctrl D. I'll speed up the video so you don't have to watch me go through the duplication process. These 9 parts have now been created. The goal of this video is to create a script that will change the color of all of these parts at the same time with the same color over and over again. And the colors are going to keep changing. So the key is to keep the colors in sync with all the parts as the color changes. The next step is to become organized. Take just a minute to rename each of your parts. It's not like naming a baby where you have to come up with a unique name. Just use a pattern of some sort. I'm just going to do part 1, part 2, part 3, just keeping it simple but different names. And this is important because if you ever wanted to use a script to change the color of one of these parts, say the middle cylinder, that middle cylinder needs to have its own unique name to reference in the script. Once all of my parts are named, I'm going to organize them further by putting them into a folder. Go up to Workspace, click the plus, and left click on Folder. I'm going to rename the folder as well, and I'll call the folder Cylinders. Then I'll select all the parts, select the first part, hold down Shift, select the last part, they're all highlighted, then drag them all into the folder. Our parts are well organized now. They each have their own name, and they're all within a folder. Placing them all in a folder is going to be helpful, as we'll soon see when we do our scripting. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do the scripting. The first way is going to be a bad way, an inefficient way to do it. The second way is going to be a better method for scripting. So first, the least efficient, non-recommended way. Let's add a script to a part by clicking the plus button next to a part and left-clicking Script. Now we have a script open in our window. Let's go ahead and erase this first line here of Hello World. And the first thing we're going to add is a while loop. If you watch my recent video of how to change a part color randomly, you should be familiar with while loops. Let's type the intro line of while, then true, do, and hit the enter key. This statement will make whatever we write inside run forever. And what we want to do is change the color of the part. To do that, let's type script.parent, and by doing that we reference the part, then .brickcolor equals brickcolor .new. Then in the parentheses, type or select the color you want to use. I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan, so I'm going to use their team colors. I'm going to use really red for my first color. This first line is going to change the brick color of our part to red. We need to add a wait statement. This represents how long we want our color to stay red before changing to the next color. I'm going to put in 0.4 seconds. You can put in whatever time you want for your color to remain the same. Next, we're going to type the same thing again. We're going to reference the brick color of the part, type in everything the same, except this time choose your second color, and I'm going to choose black. Again, add a wait statement, and I'll put in my 0.4 seconds. You put in whatever you would like. To be more efficient and save some time, instead of typing, I'm going to highlight all this and I'm going to copy it. Right-click, select Copy, then paste with Control-V on this line here. Now we just change the colors to whichever new colors we would like. And if you want to add more lines for more colors for your part to change to, go right ahead and copy and paste more lines. 4 lines works out well for me. So I'm going to add white and yellow. But for yellow, BrickColor uses the term new yeller. I don't know why, but they do. We're now ready to test out this script. But before we do that, save the game, just in case Roblox Studio was to crash. We don't want to lose the work that we've done. So go ahead and save your game. Let's go on over to the game window, click on the Run button, and let's see if this works. And there we go. The script is changing the color of the part, just like we hoped it would. How do we make the rest of the parts change color? Well, this is the inefficient way. Select the script and copy it. I'm going to use Control-C, then right-click and paste it into the part. That is to say, the next part and each and every other part you have in your folder. Can you already sense part of the problem with this method? What if you had 50 parts or 100 parts and you had to paste a script into each of those parts? That'd be a lot of scripts. On top of that, when your game runs, your game has to run all of those scripts, and that may bog down the computer. If you can decrease the number of scripts running in your game by writing your scripts more efficiently, your game is going to run that much smoother. Well, let's test this out and see how it runs. Well, it works. They're all changing color. If I get really picky, I feel like 1 or 2 of the parts is just slightly off compared to the others when it comes to time change. Really not a big deal, but if we were trying to be even more accurate, I think we could do better. Just for fun, I've taken this principle to the next level. I've made 144 of the exact same cylinders, and each of those cylinders has a script inside of them, the same script to change colors. So let's see how the game runs trying to run 144 scripts at the same time. Can it keep all the colors in sync? Let's find out. So far, pretty good. Oh, I'm starting to notice 2 cylinders that are off. Can you see that too? Now 3. But Roblox Studio is doing an impressive job. Alright, let's stop this. Now I've made it even bigger. 432 parts with scripts. Let's see. Oh, a couple fell. Oh, you can clearly see there's a delay in the 432 scripts being run. You can see that they don't change colors at the same time. So with these tests concluded, let's jump back to where we were before. The power of programming and using scripts allows you to take a task like this, of changing the color with multiple scripts, and combining it all into just one single script. So let's do that. I'm going to begin by deleting all of these scripts that we currently have in place. So delete, 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 except for this last one. I'm going to copy and paste it, not into the part where it was, but I'm going to paste it into the folder so it sits as a child at the same level as all the parts. With the script in its new position, if we tried to run this, it wouldn't work, because now in our scripting, script.parent, the parent of the script is now the cylinders folder, and the cylinders folder doesn't have a BrickColor in it, so it's not going to work. We need a different way to reference all of the parts within our folder. Let's go ahead and get this old coding out of the way. I don't want to delete it, just get it out of the way. That way we can reference it in case you want to see how it used to be. put the cursor at the beginning and just hit the Enter key a few times to get it out of the way. Even though we have this code out of the way, we can't just leave it here, or else the script will try to run it. So we need to comment it out. So let's do a quick review of how to comment out your coding. To comment out one line, just type in 2 hyphens at the beginning of the sentence. If you want to comment out multiple lines, type in the 2 hyphens followed by 2 left brackets. Then at the very end of your group of lines, type in 2 right brackets. You can tell that this script has been commented out because it all turned gray. And this is nice because we can still reference our old script if we wanted to for reminders of how we did things. For our new script, which is going to change the color for all of our parts, the first thing we're going to write is a variable. A variable is just a letter or a word that we're using in place of something else, like a part or a folder or maybe a sentence. We're going to create a variable that represents the folder all of our parts are in. First, type in the word local. Local means that this variable is going to be for just this script and not for all possible scripts in the game. Then we need to come up with a name for our variable. It can be something as simple as a letter, or it can be a word. It's best practice to pick a name for your variable that represents what your variable is. My variable needs to represent the folder that holds all of my parts. So I'm simply going to call my variable part folder. Then the equal sign. And now we have to tell the script where to find this folder. So the script knows itself, so we can type in script. And then what's the relationship of the folder to the script? Well, if you look over here in the Explorer window, the folder is the parent to the script. So we type in script.parent. And now our variable is complete. Whenever we type in part folder later in our script, the script knows that we're talking about the cylinders folder. Let's keep our script organized by adding a couple lines of space between our variable and the next part of our script. So what is it that we're trying to accomplish now? We're trying to get all the parts in the folder to change color at the same time. So to do that, we'll start with a while loop. So type while true do and hit the Enter key. And remember, we have to be careful with while loops because they run forever as long as the game is going. So we need to keep our coding clean so we don't have any errors that'll crash our game. Now we're going to make use of a for loop and ipairs. I'll type it out first and then review what it means afterwards. Type for I, comma, and then a name that's going to represent the part in the folder. Pick any name you want, but I'm going to use something descriptive. I will type color part space in ipairs. No, ipairs. There we go. Parentheses should automatically pop up. And then we're going to enter in our variable parts folder, colon, and then get children. Notice the capital G and the capital C. Then type do at the end of that sentence and hit enter. The word end should appear at the end of this function automatically. What this for loop using ipairs does is it looks at the cylinders folder, it numbers each of the items inside of the folder, and then it's going to do whatever code we type next to each of the parts. Looking at our current line of script, the I represents the number of the current part the script is looking at. Or you could say it's how many times this code has looped through the folder. The second item, color part, that represents kind of a temporary variable. It's representing the part that's associated with I in the current loop through of this coding. Ipairs is what creates the list of different items in the folder and numbers them. What is written inside of the parentheses is what ipairs is going to look at to do numbering on. So we put in part folder, and that represented the cylinders folder, but to tell it to look at the items inside of the folder, that's where we added the colon followed by get children. So get children means look at all of the children, all of the items inside of the folder cylinders. Placing the word do is how we end this line, and whatever follows is what will be done to each item within our cylinders folder. Okay, so what do we want to have happen next? We want the script to change the color of each part it loops through. So to do that, let's type in color part. Remember that color part is the temporary variable representing the current part in the loop. Then type dot brick color, because we're going to use brick colors for our colors, equal sign, then brick color dot new, and in the parentheses type in the color you want to have your part changed to. I'm going to stick with my Arizona Cardinals theme and type in really red. So this code is going to loop through all the parts and cylinders and try to change the color to red. But there's a problem. Can you see what the problem is? If we look at our cylinders folder and all the items in it, there's script inside of the cylinders folder. Script is not a part, and script does not have a color to it. This oversight would cause an error in our coding. I'll do an example in a minute. What we need to do is add something to our coding that says only do this color change if the item you're looking at is a part. So let's add a line right here and type here an if statement. If color part, then colon, is a, and in the parentheses, quotations, base part. So if the current item being looked at is a base part, which the parts are, but the script is not, then type in the word then, and then you have to make sure you add the word end here. And I'll move this line over just for organizational purposes. Type in that word end. There we go. Now when the script runs, it's going to look and see if the item it's looking at is a base part. Isn't, it'll do nothing. If it is, then it's going to change the color to red. Once all the parts are red, then we need to add a wait. So type in wait and whatever time you want to wait. I'm putting in 0.4 seconds. To save time typing, I'm going to highlight all this, Control C to copy it, and then Control V to paste. I'm going to do this 4 times because I want it to change between 4 different colors. Now I need to change the colors for those last 3. So I'll go up and change this one to black. This next one I'm going to change to white. And this last one I'll change to new yeller for yellow. Before running this, let's go ahead and save our work. File, save to file. There we go. So if this works, we should see all of our parts change colors simultaneously. Let's hit the run button, see what happens. Hey, there we go. It's working just as we hoped for. All the colors are changing at the same time. We're using only 1 script to change the color of these parts instead of 9 scripts like we did before. If you receive an error down here in the output window, it'll kind of tell you where you messed up. So let me give you an example. I'll hit stop here and go back to the script, and let me go ahead and take out the line that talked about only running the color if the item was a base part. So if we try to run this now, the script would loop through all the items in the cylinders folder, but when it came across script, it would try to change the brick color for script and would throw out an error because there is no brick color as part of script. So let's test this out and see what happens. Hit run, and there we go. Our parts managed to change color to red, but we got this error down here. And look at what it says. Brick color is not a valid member of script. And then it shows you where the script is located under workspace.cylinder.script. So that's our script here. This spot right here shows you the line where the problem's at in your script. And you can click the link here in red and it will take you to the script and highlight the line with the error. And it gives you some clues about the problem. You can see it says brick color is not a member. So that should help clue you in to what your problem is with your script. If the script didn't pop up for whatever reason, you could find it by following the pathway shown, workplace.cylinder.script. Going down to the properties of the script, you can see there is no brick color listed here within the properties of script. So that's why there's an error. In parts, here's brick color, but in script, there's no brick color, and that's why there's an error. As you get deeper into doing more and more scripts within Roblox, coming across errors is just part of the fun and part of the process of all of this. So the sooner you can understand how to read that output, the quicker you'll be able to diagnose your problems. So I'm going to go ahead and put the coding back in that I removed so that we can make this script work again, and we'll test it out. Let's click the run button again. And it's working as it should. The colors are changing simultaneously over and over again. But now let's take this back to what we saw earlier, where we had 432 parts changing at the same time. If you remember from last time when we clicked run, it was too much for Roblox Studio to run all of those scripts quickly enough to make all the colors change at the same time in sync. Let's try it again, this time using the new script we made that utilizes for loops and ipairs. Here we can see all 432 parts listed underneath the cylinders folder and just one script. There's our script, and let's go ahead and hit the run button and see how it performs. Very nice. This is doing fantastic. And the workload being placed upon Roblox Studio is so much less because it's just running one script. That's our scripting lesson for today. I hope you learn more about using scripting efficiently, that you understand for loops and ipairs better than you did before, and that you learned a bit more about making comments. Keep learning in the next video, where we build upon this knowledge and add in click detectors to change our parts' colors. I'll see you then.